Ever feel like you're drowning in startup marketing advice? It's tough out there. So today we're diving into marketing for startups, igniting growth on a budget. It's by this award-winning creative director, Stuart Crawford.
Definitely a must-read for anyone in the startup world.
Right. And it's all about cutting through the noise, giving you, the listener, actionable insights that you can actually use.
No fluff, just the good stuff.
Exactly. And one thing that really struck me was Crawford's emphasis on understanding your target market. He even makes this analogy about throwing a party and only serving steak.
To a crowd full of vegans.
Exactly.
Talk about a recipe for disaster. And it's the same thing with startups. Trying to appeal to everyone is a surefire way to waste resources.
Yeah.
You miss opportunities to connect with the right people.
So how do we avoid becoming that steak-obsessed party host in the startup world?
It all comes down to what Crawford calls niche marketing.
Niche marketing.
Yeah, instead of trying to be everything to everyone, you focus on a smaller segment of the market that really needs your product.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we identify that perfect niche?
So Crawford uses this example of Sarah, the stressed-out startup founder. She's a great example of a well-defined buyer persona.
So instead of just saying, we target entrepreneurs,
Right.
we get laser focused. We're talking about entrepreneurs like Sarah. You know, the ones who are tech savvy, but also crazy busy, the ones who need things to be simple and efficient.
Exactly. It's about understanding their pain points.
And because we get her, we can tailor our messaging and solutions to resonate with her on a deeper level.
It's like you're speaking her language.
Have you ever had that experience where you felt like a brand just got you?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what we're going for here. That's the power of knowing your target market inside and out. Okay, so we've nailed down our target market, but what about our brand identity? Is it really more than just like a cool logo and a catchy tagline?
Oh, it's way more than just a logo. Think of your brand as like a promise to your customer.
Okay, I promise. I like that.
Yeah. What do you consistently deliver? What feeling do you evoke? That's your brand.
So it's less about like bragging about how great we are and more about letting our actions speak for themselves.
Exactly. And that's where finding your unique brand voice comes in.
Okay, brand voice. I've heard that term before.
So Crawford, he compares a bland brand voice to like that person at a party. You know, the one who just drones on and on about the weather
Oh, yeah.
in a monotone voice.
Ugh, the worst. I definitely don't want my brand to be that guy at the party.
Right. You want to be memorable.
For the right reasons, of course.
For sure. So are you like the life of the party? Playful, energetic, maybe a little edgy?
Or maybe like the reliable friend.
Yeah. Calm, reassuring, trustworthy.
I love that analogy because it's not just about fitting in with your audience.
Right.
It's about being authentic to who you are as a brand. Speaking of brand voices, what do you think this deep dive sounds like? Are we hitting the right notes?
I think we're striking a good balance. We're serving up valuable insights,
Huh.
but with the side of personality.
Okay, like that. Not too stuffy, right?
Definitely not.
Okay, so we've nailed down our target market. We're crafting a killer brand. Time to tackle digital marketing. And honestly, this is where I start to feel a little overwhelmed.
It's a lot, for sure.
There are just so many platforms and strategies. Where do we even begin?
Take a deep breath. You don't have to be everywhere at once,
Oh, good.
especially when you're just starting out. Crawford highlights a few key areas that are super impactful for startups, especially ones with limited budgets.
Okay, that's good to hear.
So first up is your website. Think of it like your digital storefront. And just like a physical store, user experience is everything.
Oh, absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I've abandoned an online shopping cart because the website was just so clunky and impossible to navigate.
Right there. And as Crawford says, a frustrated user is a lost customer. He stresses the importance of making sure your website is easy to use, visually appealing, and mobile-friendly.
Especially mobile friendly. Everyone's on their phones these days.
Exactly. If your site isn't optimized for mobile, you're missing out on a huge chunk of potential customers.
Okay, website check. What about content marketing? I know it's supposed to be super important for building trust and establishing authority,
It is.
but it always seems so time-consuming.
It can be, for sure. But there's a reason Crawford calls content marketing the Swiss Army knife of digital marketing.
Okay, Swiss Army knife.
Yeah. It's versatile, effective, and you can tailor it to fit any budget. Think blog posts, infographics, videos, even podcasts.
Whoa, Meta, we're doing it right now.
Exactly. And the key here is to create high-quality content that your target audience actually finds valuable.
Content they actually want to consume.
Exactly.
Okay, content marketing, check. We can't forget about social media, right?
Absolutely not.
I feel like that's often the first place potential customers encounter a brand these days.
It is for many. But here's where things get interesting.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. Social media. Interesting how?
Well, it's tempting to try to be on every platform. But Crawford, he says that's a mistake, especially for startups.
I can see how that would be easy to do, trying to cover all the bases.
Right. You spread yourself too thin and end up being just okay everywhere instead of amazing somewhere.
Ouch. Yeah, I can definitely see that happening.
Exactly. It's much more effective to focus your energy where your target audience hangs out.
So figure out which platforms they actually use and forget about the rest.
Exactly. Why waste time and resources on a platform where your ideal customer never goes?
Makes sense to me. So we've talked about target markets, branding, and digital strategies. But Crawford also mentioned something called guerrilla marketing. What exactly is that?
Well, it's all about being creative and unexpected, using unconventional tactics to make a big impact, especially when you don't have a huge budget.
So kind of like those flash mob proposals you see online?
Sort of. But it's more than just a big spectacle. It's about outsmarting the competition, not outspending them.
I love that. Any good examples from the book?
There's a great story about this small shoe company. They wanted to make a splash at a major sporting event, but couldn't afford a Super Bowl commercial, obviously.
Those are pricey.
So what do? They set up a pop-up shop right outside the event.
Wow, it's kind of brilliant.
Right. Simple, but effective.
They found a way to get in front of their target audience without breaking the bank. Okay, so we've covered a lot today. Target market, branding, digital marketing, guerrilla tactics. But how do we know if any of it is actually working?
That's where data comes in. Crawford really stresses that we can't rely on intuition alone. We need to track our results.
But data analysis can feel so overwhelming.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be scary.
Okay, good. Because honestly, spreadsheets are not my love language.
Fair enough. But even just tracking a few key metrics can make a huge difference. Crawford talks about customer acquisition cost, or CAC.
CAC, right.
Basically, it tells you how much it costs you to acquire one new customer.
Okay, so if I spend $1,000 on marketing and get 10 new customers.
Your CAC would be $100.
Got it. And you want to keep that number as low as possible, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if it costs you more to acquire a customer than you make from them, that's a problem.
Makes sense. So track the data, but keep it simple. This deep dive into marketing for startups has been amazing. We've covered so much ground, and I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too.
And for our listeners, remember, even if you just implement one thing you learned today, that's a win. Small steps lead to big results. And if you want to dive deeper into Stuart Crawford's insights, be sure to check out his book. We'll include a link in the show notes. Until next time.